Yo, what's good, y'all? This is Master Ace, Crooklyn Dodgers. You know what I'm saying? Juice Crew and all of that. Check me out coming up on I Only Touch Greatness, the podcast.
Symphony is so a huge piece of hip hop, and I feel like a lot of people should know Symphony like they know everything else.
Well, you got to remember, this is very early. This is late 80s, so it's very early in the development of the culture, of the music.
Right.
Big Daddy Kane wasn't yet who he became.
Right.
Kool G Rap wasn't known and revered the way he eventually became. And so when you're in the middle of it and you're doing it, you don't really think about, wow, this is major. This is a major event. Like
right.
Like us having this conversation right now, we're just doing an interview.
Right.
But in 20 years, you guys become like the hugest thing in the entire world as far as
hope so.
Podcasters, right?
Right.
You'll look back at this interview and not realize like how it will be like, man, that was just an interview. It was cool. It was whatever. But you're not looking at it like in the moment that this is a big deal. Like it's just something cool that you're a part of. That's it.
Yeah, you didn't really know what you had there at the moment while you're there.
Right.
And who really influenced you as a music artist growing up?
It was a few cats that I heard. I liked a bunch of different people, but the cats that kind of made me adjust what I was writing or how I was writing. One of the first cats was Slick Rick.
Sweet.
Nice.
And then LL Cool J was definitely one of the cats. And then Rakim and Big Daddy Kane. Those are like the four guys to me, like my Mount Rushmore as far as influence. Of course, down the road, other people I listened to and got influence from, but those were kind of like the main guys that made, in my early stages, made me change my technique or the way I was writing my rhymes.
Okay.
Did you ever get to know Pac or Biggie very well, and any good memories with them?
I never got to know either of them really well. But there was, like, I had people that were close to me that were close to Biggie. So DJ Mr. C was the person who got Big signed and who really brought Big to Bad Boy to a certain extent. He brought Big to Matty C at the source, which led to Big ultimately ending up on Bad Boy. So when Big was looking for an attorney to negotiate his first contract with Bad Boy, Mr. C reached out to me because he's like, yo, who's your attorney? I got Big on the line. Who's your attorney? I gave him the info, and his first lawyer was the same person that I used. So it was like
pretty cool.
Little indirect stuff like that. But like we were just different. He smoked weed constantly. I never wanted to be around weed, so we would never like hang out like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just of course, being from Brooklyn, we had to ask that question.
You know what I'm saying? Because
Right.
Listen, as a kid, like, Take a Look Around is something that was so deep in this culture and so, you know, overlooked and so underrated. Like, tell us a little bit about Take a Look Around.
I mean, that was my debut. Obviously, Marley Marl was the main producer on that album.
Right.
I didn't know how to make music yet. I was just learning as I was going along, and I was following really Marley's lead because at that point Marley had already done so many records with so many different artists. So I was just a sponge. I was just paying attention. I would ask a lot of questions. Why did you push that button? What does that do? Why did you do that? How did you make that sound? How did you create that? I just asked a lot of questions. And so that first album was just really me. It was like the internship for me. I was just learning.
Because the other side of town, like, even when you did your remake of your verse on the symphony was like killer.
Yeah, thank you. Other side of town, Um, that was one of the joints that Marley made, I believe. There was like 2 or 3 records that Marley made that were actually for Belle Biv DeVoe that they didn't use.
Wow,
Okay.
I
that's
think,
crazy.
yeah, there was I used either 2 or 3 beats that he made for Belle Biv DeVoe that they didn't use. I think maybe Other Side of Town was one of them. Yeah.
What would you say your favorite verse is you ever did?
My favorite verse I ever did. That's tough.
I know you
That's
got like a lot. I know you got like a lot of them.
It's just tough because I do so many different styles of rhymes. Like I don't do one thing. So
Do you have a top 5? Or let's go top 3 to make it easier on you.
I think it's easier to just go song instead of verse. So
Okay.
Right,
and I'll just pick one from each album. Like lyrical performance wise. On my first album, I would say Can't Stop the Bum Rush.
Yeah.
Because I was just going straight lyrical,
Great,
crazy.
yeah, straight nuts with it.
Yeah. On Slaughterhouse, lyrically, I probably would say the Mad Ones.
Yeah, that's
Sitting on Chrome album. I probably say Eastbound, maybe Eastbound, something like that. Disposable Arts, I would definitely say Acknowledge, because that was like a battle rhymes. And then on Long Hot Summer, let me see what because Long Hot Summer, there's almost all the songs were concept songs. There wasn't really one where I was really going in, but if I had to pick one, I'd probably say Good Old Love. And that's the first 5 albums, but give you an idea.